welcome to SVG-TV News for Thursday, August 29, 2019. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. Climate change and its impact is a serious threat to the existence of SVG's tourism industry and across the region. This was pointed out to local and regional tourism stakeholders on day 2 of the CTO Conference on Sustainable Tourism at the Beachcombers Hotel, where member countries have been urged to take immediate measures to combat climate change. SVG-TV's Bhavin Oliver tells us more in this report.
Across the region to implement measures to adapt to the impacts of climate change if their tourism product and the industry on a whole is to continue to exist. So said Minister of Finance and Economic Planning Camilo Gonzalez during his presentation on day 2 of the Caribbean Tourism Organization Conference on Sustainable Tourism at the Beachcombers Hotel today. Minister Gonzalez said climate change is one factor which must be examined thoroughly as its impacts can severely damage or destroy the entire sector. The Economic Planning Minister highlighted some scientific findings which paint a bleak future due to climate change impacts and sea level rise.
And the erosion to coastal beach areas after a 1 meter sea rise can affect 307 resorts if you include Haiti, CARICOM including Haiti. 307 tourism facilities can be damaged or lost by sea level rise. That is a body blow to Caribbean tourism that would set us back decades, if not bring the industry to its knees entirely.
Minister Gonzalez said adaptation is the solution if Caribbean countries are going to continue to rely on tourism. He said such adaptation measures include stronger buildings, shoreline stability planning, and the creation of barriers against sea level rise, as well as the creation of necessary business adaptation models. The Economic Planning Minister further stated that there is a role for the hotel industry and other stakeholders to get involved. He said the education of tourists on issues relating to climate change and structured conversations between private and public partners on the cost of resilient structures are necessary solutions.
Governments put a tax on or a tariff onto a tourist ticket, their stay, $2 a night, $5 a night, and the industry predictably responds angrily. What are you doing? We're already uncompetitive. Why are you putting another tax on this thing? But if we don't, you're going to lose your beach, you're going to lose your hotel, you're going to lose your business. So we need to have a conversation as equals about what it's going to cost to protect our coastline and where we're going to find that money. Because it's not going to happen for free, it's not going to happen on the cheap.
The bleaching of coral reefs, the spread of mosquito-borne diseases are associated with climate change, and Minister Gonzalez called on all stakeholders to work together to address this issue.
There is no such thing as drought tourism. There's no such thing as you should have been here 10 years ago, it was really nice tourism. There's no such thing as mosquito tourism. Yeah? There's no such thing as dive tourism without coral reefs, or fishing tourism without fish, or beach tourism without beaches. And that is where we are. Let's not wait till 2050 to say, oh my God, what are we going to do with tourism in the Caribbean now it's disappeared? We have to plan now, we have to strategize now, and we have to see what is realistic and what is feasible in partnership with the government, with our communities.
During the last 2 days, the delegates at the conference examined a wide range of factors which affect the tourism industry, and it is hoped that the conference is a stepping stone towards building a stronger, resilient tourism industry region-wide. For SVG-TV's Evening News, I am Bhavin Oliver.
Some of the local and regional delegates at the conference said the discussions held over the last 2 days were quite informative and presented several unique approaches to help develop the tourism product in their respective countries and region-wide. Many of them also applauded the presentation made by Minister of Finance Camilo Gonzalez and agree that more must be done to address climate change and its impact, and spoke of their own solutions to the issue.
I am here today because we have an alliance with the Caribbean Tourism Organization to promote sustainable tourism through our program, which is a traveler's health program, where we are looking at capturing illnesses and health issues that impact on a traveler so that we can address them very quickly before they spread and you have negative consequences that may arise. This conference is very important. We just had a thought-provoking speech from the Minister of Finance from St. Vincent that really talks about the impact of climatic change on our tourism industry. Tourism is our mainstay, and the fact that 60% of our hotels are located in the coastal region, a hurricane and the impacts of that rising sea level can be detrimental to our tourism industry. So we really have to ban as a region, to put measures to mitigate that.
The tourism sector is very dependent on the availability of fresh water. With a changing climate as well, or global warming, and you have an increase in temperature, we will need more cooling facilities. So I think some of the issues that he brought to the front really were thought-provoking, and it is really expedient that we as a tourism sector, from across the Caribbean, look at a strategy to safeguard our home, the region, to ensure that it is, a safe and climate resilient region that will continue to be globally competitive and attract visitors in the longer term.
Well, I'm glad you asked the question, because once a teacher, I was a teacher. I came from a teaching background, and young people are always so excited about the arts. So maybe I can use this initiative of using the arts to get the message across, to protect, conserve and protect our environment. Use it through dance, drama, spoken word. So I will take upon myself to do my part and use the arts to bring the message across that climate change is real, and we, as young as we are, as old as we can get, have to make a difference to protect our environment, lovely, blessed homeland, St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
CARIFTA 2019 was a fascinating experience. So says Officer of Operational Control in the Ministry of Tourism and Culture, Maxine Brown, who was in charge of the dancing component of SVG's presentation at CARIFTA 14 in Trinidad. Brown said the overall experience was memorable and the team delivered spectacularly. She said SVG came in for high commendation from their original counterparts.
But when we got to Tobago, they were prepared. Our liaison officers were ready. The bus was ready. They had a special sign marked Team SVG, and we were so proud. We got to the hotel, and it was all prepared for us, and it was really nice. We enjoyed the hotel experience, and we got the chance to deliver our entire production in Tobago, and it was so memorable. It was such awe to them. They highly commended us, and of course, like SVG-TV, we had a lot of interviews, and so to put it simple, SVG was highly bigged up, and we are proud of our experience in Tobago. So I must say, hip hip hooray for CARIFTA 2019. I also must add, before my colleague speaks, that I want to, at this time, thank the government and people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines for investing in the arts. An investment in the arts is an investment in the youth. An investment in the youth is an investment in the future. Kudos to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, my blessed homeland. Thank you for the experience.
Hospitality officer with the SVG Tourism Authority, Marlon Joseph, who was also part of SVG's delegation to the event, agreed that CARIFTA 14 was a fascinating one. Joseph said that he was also amazed by the tremendous interest shown in Destination SVG.
There was a lot of active interest in the destination, and that was expressed in different ways, where persons would come, for instance, and they would be happy to identify with St. Vincent and the Grenadines because of some ancestral connection, because their grandparents or great-grandparents were from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And there were those who came to boast about having been to St. Vincent and the Grenadines and how excellent the experience was and how much they're looking to coming back. And then there were those who came who have St. Vincent and the Grenadines on their bucket list. So there were really a lot of active interest in the destination, and we were happy to have been there and represented St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And as I said, given that the kind of interest having been expressed, I am looking forward, for instance, to Vinci Mass next year, that many Trinidadians would be coming, and also for the end of this year, many of them would be coming also to take part in our indigenous festival, 9 Mornings.
SVG was represented at CARAFTA 14 by a 60-member-strong contingent. In other news, St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Dominica were the only two Caribbean community CARICOM countries to vote on Wednesday against a resolution on the human rights situation in Venezuela. Nicaragua also joined SVG and Dominica in voting against a resolution that was approved by the Permanent Council of the Organization of American States. 5 CARICOM member states were among 7 that also abstained from the vote. Those abstaining were Barbados, Belize, Bolivia, Mexico, St. Kitts and Nevis, Suriname, and Trinidad and Tobago. The OAS said Antigua and Grenada, as well as Uruguay, were absent from the vote. The Bahamas, Guyana, Haiti, Jamaica, and St. Lucia were among 21 countries which voted in favor of the resolution. The OAS said the Permanent Council approved the resolution, which strongly condemns what it calls the grave and systematic violations of human rights in Venezuela, including the use of torture, illegal and arbitrary detentions, extrajudicial executions, forced disappearances, and the denial of the most basic rights and necessities, especially those related to health, food, and education. According to the OAS, the resolution demands an independent and credible investigation that makes it possible to bring the perpetrators and masterminds of the human rights violations to justice. Medical supplies, food items were handed over today to the Ministry of Health and Wellness from the St. Mathias Charities, Inc. at a handed over ceremony at Stubbs Polyclinic. The St. Mathias Charities, Inc. is an organization based in New York which has been donated to SVG's healthcare system yearly since 2012. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment, Cuthbert Knights, expressed gratitude to the organization, noting that it has been a very loyal and dedicated donor.
This is a very hard-working man. And this is a gentleman and a pastor who gives of himself. He is not only the founder of St. Mathias Charities, Inc., but he has been toiling for years now. His organization was able to make available to St. Vincent and the Grenadines in excess of 11 to 12 containers, 40-foot containers of medical supplies. And I can say to you that, thank you very much. I can say to you that by no stretch of the imagination, this is not an easy task. And I can say to you that on this trip, they have made available to us a number of medical items, from strollers to walkers to drip stands to examination tables, medical crash carts, just too numerous to mention. And in addition, on this mission, they have also made available food supplies, which will be made available to other agencies of the state, and also much needed back-to-school supplies.
Area Representative and Minister of National Mobilization, Frederick Stevenson, also thanked the organization for the donation, which includes medical supplies, some of which will go to the Stubbs Polyclinic.
These medical supplies and food stuff and bags and other items to be sent to St. Vincent and the Grenadines is not an easy thing. You've heard Mr. McBarnett said they host barbecue, they host a dinner, they host other fundraising events, and that is important. And we are thankful to all the persons who have contributed to ensuring that these medical supplies come here to St. Vincent, and more importantly here at Stubbs. I know that the staff here very caring and hardworking staff. They go beyond the call of duty many, many times. If I hear a little problem at Stubbs, you know, I'd call the polyclinic and find out if that is so. And they've always been a very helpful staff here at Stubbs. And I know that the medical supplies that are going to be distributed and handed over this morning, that they're going to take very good care of them to make sure that they're put to the best use possible.
Minister Stevenson urged persons who will benefit from the donation to appreciate them and take much care of the items. President of the St. Mathias Charities, Inc., Robert McBannett, pledged to make the Stubbs Polyclinic the best in SVG. McBannett said he has been making donations to the Stubbs community since 2011 and that the idea of having a larger charity organization comes from a doctor at the Stubbs Polyclinic, Wendy Gordon Jack. He said from this advice, he decided to come together with his wife and friends from New York and start raising funds so that they can donate much needed medical supplies and other items, not only to the Stubbs Polyclinic, but other medical facilities here in SVG.
So from 2012 to now, we brought in 11 40-foot containers into St. Vincent and the Grenadines. In 2015, I'll go back a little bit. In 2012, Sister Inol Smart, who is one of our members on the ground here, I saw her somewhere. She was the acting hospital administrator at that time. We brought in endoscopy/colonoscopy machine to do endoscopy. That machine is $100,000 for that piece of equipment. It's in use right now in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. In 2015, I had a conversation with my bishop here who went to do an EKG test. And after that conversation, I said to him, look, Bishop, we're going to get on board. EKG machine is going to be our priority. We have a long list of St. Mathias Charities, Inc. And it grows daily because every time we get requests, we put it on a list and we try to fulfill that request.
McBannett said that they have also donated EKG machines to the Ministry of Health, Wellness, and it is their intention to have at least one EKG machine at every medical facility in SVG.
So we said, look, we believe that in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, every hospital should have an EKG machine. Every clinic and every polyclinic. So we went out and we sourced 2. We hand over 2 to the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital. We did 1 for Chateaubriand Hospital, 1 to the Levi Latham Hospital, 1 to Georgetown Hospital, 1 to the Union Island Hospital in Union. And we did 1 here last year to the Stubbs Polyclinic, and we hand over 1 to the PS to place wherever they see that it's needed. So thus far, we brought in 8 EKG machines to St. Vincent and Grenadines.
He said that the organization is also trying to make donations across the region and is grateful to all the persons who have been helping to get these supplies.
We brought in 5 stretchers, 2 examination tables. We brought a lot of food, lots of medical supplies like gauze, syringes, IV poles, medication carts. We brought also some waiting chairs for the Ministry of Health. We brought in 24-seat chairs, 6 4-seaters. They were too big to bring here. The PS will distribute them where he feels that is the best suitable place to put them. Just to give you a backdrop of St. Mathias Charities, Inc. From 2012 to now,
members of the organization will also be handing out school supplies at the Dixon Methodist School this weekend. And Minister of Health and the Environment, Luke Brown, said that if there were more entities like the St. Mathias Charities, Inc., it will be a lot more easier to administer health care in SVG.
Several tens of thousands of US dollars worth of supplies, and they're giving us things that we need. You know, sometimes you might have an entity interested in making a donation, and they pick up any kind of scraps and see if they could send that to you and call that a donation. They are in tune with us to the point where their donation is informed by the things that we need in the health system. Their donation is based on a wish list that we ourselves put together for them, and that makes a difference. And it's going to make a difference in a community like Stubbs, in a clinic like this Stubbs Polyclinic, where we do a wide range of services, different services. If you want to get your eyes checked, you could come to the Stubbs Polyclinic. If you want your checkup after childbirth, you could come to the Stubbs Polyclinic. If you want to perform consultations, you could come to the Stubbs Polyclinic. If you want to see a dentist and to check out your teeth, you could come to the Stubbs Polyclinic. If you get a cut in the field and you want to make sure it is dressed and it is properly taken care of, you could come to the Stubbs Polyclinic.
In other news, 2 Vincentian Gospel recording artists have been nominated in the UK-based Gospel Explosion Awards 2019 for Best International Artist of the Year. They are Gary Bino, aka GB, and Hayden Bilingi. The GX Awards is a United Kingdom-based platform that celebrates personalities in the gospel TV media, music, and community sectors. In an interview with SVG-TV News, Bilingi said he is quite happy with the nomination.
I am very elated to be nominated internationally. I mean, it's a good feel to see an island boy, a country boy, you know, is being recognized internationally for his work, his music. Man, it has been a tremendous ride. God has been extremely good to me. He has opened doors I never thought possible. I performed in the UK, ministered in Miami, in Chicago, and even in Holland. So I am really, really amazed at what God can do once you avail yourself to Him. So we submitted the nominations about a month ago, and to my surprise, I saw my name on the list. And it's not just me alone, but also Gary Bino, aka GB, a Vincentian rapper, who was also nominated in the category of Best International Artist.
Bilingi and Bino both are represented by ACT City Entertainment Management Agency, and they are encouraging the Vincentian public to vote for them online in the category they have been nominated.
We are just asking Vincentians to vote, because without your votes, we won't be able to come up to the place where we can get this award. So we are asking you to vote in all of your numbers. And you can vote multiple times. Voting is online. You can go to www.gxawards.org. It's Gospel Explosion Awards. So it's gxawards.com. It is definitely a step in the right direction for my career. I see this as a door opener for greater things to come. When you are announced as an international artist, and when you're announced as a winner of an international award, it does open doors for you and gives you the credential you need to advance in the music industry. So I'm very excited about this.
The voting period for the GX Awards closes on September 11th, with the award ceremony slated for September 22nd in Birmingham, London.